very, very glad to see so many of you coming out to support excellent, independent Black film. My name is Stephanie Renee. I'm the morning host of WURD 900 AM, and so it is my great pleasure to get a chance to meet you in person, first of all, and talk to you a little bit about this wonderful film. Of course, director Neil Drumming, everyone, give it up again.
This is hip-hop with whole mics.
That's right. I'm not going to cover it up and cause feedback though. I guess the first thing I would love to ask you is and I had the pleasure of doing an interview with GBENGA yesterday. And so we talked about loving this film. He talked about loving doing this film because even though there are elements of this story that are very much within the Black tradition, that it really, at the end of the day, is a story about growing up and men being men and trying to find a voice in all of that. And for you, what was the thing that said, especially because this is your debut feature film, so talk about the process of birthing the story and bringing that to the screen, because I think a lot of people in Philadelphia love the idea of process. So talking about how you squeezed this out and made it come into reality.
Okay, I guess I think it had to do with like the time when I was writing the movie, which I've been writing screenplays trying to like break into that business. I was a journalist prior to this, and I guess it was around like I was turning like 35 or something like that, and that was like, I don't know what year that was. Let's just say like 2008 I started writing this movie. And the thing that I wanted to write about was like the notion of getting older, of like, regrets and the things that happen in your life that you either felt unfulfilled or fulfilled by, or the things that you wish you had done. And I'm a big fan of those kinds of movies where you talk, movies about growing up. So like I always name check The Big Show when I talk about this movie. High Fidelity is kind of one, Sideways is especially one. I'm a big fan of that movie. And I wanted to write a movie sort of like that. But my tradition, one of the things that makes movies like Sideways work is like you don't have to know a lot about wine or even care necessarily to love that movie. The themes of the movie are universal, but the specificity, the context of the movie, the wine country, the situation that it's in makes it feel more real. So I wanted to do something about universal themes, but I wanted to use a very real context, and the context that comes most naturally to me, obviously, is hip-hop. So it was a combination of like the ideas I wanted to write about in the context that I felt most comfortable working in. So it was sort of easy to write about hip hop, and then it sort of was encouraging for me because I know I hadn't seen it yet. I hadn't seen anybody do it, so I felt like I had something special.
Well, one of the things that made it feel very familiar in a great way to me is that in the wake of the George Zimmerman verdict, Questlove wrote this really moving piece for OKPlayer.com about being, it started out with him always being the guy who's uncomfortable, sort of uncomfortable with his size, uncomfortable with his complexion, always making, wary of making other people feel uncomfortable. But at the end of the day, underlying that in this article was a conversation about he recognizing that he and his friends feel a lot that they don't share with each other, even the people that are closest in the circle. And as you watch the story develop with these characters in this film, they were feeling a lot based on this tragic incident that happened that sort of ended this trajectory that they were on. And even on a night when they're reunited, so much went unspoken. Do you feel that sort of where Black manhood is at this point, or where manhood is in general?
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's really, if it's something specific to anybody, to men or Black men or anyone. I think that I'm fascinated with what people don't say. Like as a writer, I think most people either lie to themselves or lie to others, and I think that's the most fascinating thing for me to approach while writing. I just like the notion that people behave in certain ways and how hold things back. That's what makes characters interesting to me, and so it's a lot more fun for me to write something where people don't say what they mean than it is to write something where they say exactly what they mean. It just doesn't, that doesn't feel realistic to me, and it's no fun to write. I kind of like the subterfuge of like humanity, you know, the genesis of this a few years ago. Like I definitely thought, we talked about this, I definitely thought that Medicine for Melancholy was like a sign of something. And then shortly after, I think there was Night Catches Us, and then after Ava DuVernay made I Will Follow. Like I could see it coming, right? And I definitely wanted to be a part of that conversation. So it's no accident that my movie is out now, because I wanted to be a part. I knew that part was coming, and I wanted to be a part of it. And Ava and I are friends. Ava and I have been friends since Ava was a publicist for movies and I was an entertainment writer. Neither of us were filmmakers. And we both wanted to be, but we used to, you know, we talk all the time. And so when I saw what she was doing, you know, I was very excited for her. And she was like, we had lunch at the Time Warner Building in New York, and she said, get money and make a movie. She said, just go do it. She said, stop screwing around, make the movie. And so she's one of the people that encouraged me early. So as far as the indie film world, I can see not only where the movement started, but also there are people, very specific people who are responsible. Barry's one of them, Ava's one of them, you know. And so that I can see. Now, the reason that there's like big studio films like The Butler and 12 Years a Slave and Black Nativity, I don't know where that came from. I don't know whether that's, I mean, it's not a disparaging comment, I have no idea. I don't know whether it's a result of like, you know, what the Help. I don't know if that did really great, and all suddenly the studios were like, Black people are alive, and they go see movies. I have no idea what happened. But, you know, I'm happy for it. You know, I like, because the thing is, like, I love Black actors. I mean, part of the reason I wrote Big Words is because I wanted to put great words, and I tried to put great words in the mouths of Black actors. So when Black actors work, I'm very excited. And they raise their profile, and even if I don't like The Butler, which I haven't seen it yet, but if I don't like it, I know that Yaya's in it, and she got a big part, and she got a paycheck. And I want her in my next movie, so maybe she'll have the ability to do that, you know, the next time. So when we work, when all of us work, it's great. You know, that's how I feel about it. But I don't know why it's happening. I'm just hoping and happy with the festivals we've been allowed to go to. Like 2 weeks ago, we went to the Frameline LGBT Festival in San Francisco, which was an amazingly different kind of audience. And I was happy that because it's not like a gay movie, but it has a gay character in it. So I was really happy that they accepted us and that they screened the movie, and we screened twice there, and it was a great lively audience, and I got to talk about the entirety of the movie and not just the character and people were open, so that was dope. Slam Dance was great, Atlanta Film Festival was great, New Voices of Black Cinema in Brooklyn was amazing. I mean, we shot the movie in Brooklyn and we showed at Bayham. Nothing could have been better.
Hi, my name is Kathy Jackson, and I really enjoyed the movie.
Thank you.
It's very entertaining. Going back to the cost issue, do you mind discussing the budget and your major source of funding?
I was told by my producer to never disclose the budget again. I don't know why, but I abide by what he says. The way we got the money was I had a little money, he had a little money, my friend Tallahassee had a little money, my friend Devin had a little money, and you know, we kept it tight. We thought that we would do it for one number. It ended up being more. There is a name in the credits that came in at the end and gave us a lot of money to finish the movie. It's a person I don't know. We shook hands on a large sum of money in order to deliver the movie. That was a godsend, because it was just a friend of mine from high school works for a guy who is a hedge fund guy. And we had finished the movie. We had showed at festivals. We were ready to go. We just had to deliver the film, which means finishing all the clearances and you know, delivering the film, getting the prints ready, you know, whatever. And we were stuck. And my friend from high school, who had always been a champion of the film, said, "Hey, I work for this guy who's super rich, who doesn't know what to do with his money, and is always backing films and losing." And I went to this meeting silencing. I'm nervous because I'm like I'm like some guy in an Italian guy's office, and he's like wearing a sweatsuit, and I'm wearing like a blazer, trying to look proper. And he said, "You're gonna lose. I'm never gonna get this money back, right?" And I said, "No, you might get it back." He's like, "Don't lie to me." He's like, "Every movie I've ever invested in, I never got the money back." And he really just wanted me to listen to a rant, and he just wanted to be involved in the movie, and then he gave me the money. So you just really never know what it's gonna come from. You gotta ask everybody, and it sucks to have to ask people, but if you want to make a movie, that's what you do, unless you are a studio. The reason, I'll tell you why it worked for me, okay? I will still say to this day, and I've written quite a few things, I will say to this day that Big Words is the greatest thing. It's my favorite thing I've ever written. I like it a lot. And what it did for me was it helped me get people to work on the movie for no money. tool. So if you don't have, if money is not the resource you have, what you need is something that people want to be involved with, that they will put their names on, that they want to have their names attached to.